There's no doubt that Dinoland USA is the best land in Animal Kingdom. I love it, or I love what it was. Dinoland, since its construction, was surely the haphazard result of Imagineering's incredible creativity, in the wake of budgetary constraints in a brand new Animal Kingdom that had become much more costly than originally anticipated. Or at least that's the theory. While Dinoland often gets critiqued for its intentionally cheap appearance, its best details, like the dinosaur bones embedded in the earth, require a bit of digging to fully appreciate. This is rewarding for those who bring their shovels, but not as much for the many of us who can often walk right past. There is certainly no shortage of fun details in Dinoland, but when compared to the rest of Animal Kingdom, it takes a bit more effort to become fully immersed here. Each neighborhood of Animal Kingdom celebrates the customs and traditions of its respective cultures: Asia, Africa, Pandora, and America. Wait, this is America, we live here. Although I adore Dinoland, and I do adore Dinoland, there is almost no cohesion between it and the other lands within the park. Today, perhaps more than ever, Dinoland is inching closer and closer to a depressing extinction. The charm of Dinoland was found in its backstory of Diggs County, and that story is being chiseled away every day. With the curious removal of Primeval World, Dinoland's humorous story of being built on a parking lot has itself become a parking lot. It's the circle of life, I suppose. This leaves us with Triceratops Spin, which is fine, but does a single spinner ride justify the existence of an already underwhelming area? They took away the main joke, the parody attraction, and now there's very little to laugh about. So what do? I at last concede that an overhaul of this area is necessary to better serve Walt Disney World and the general message of Animal Kingdom overall. This space needs to serve a better purpose. So what makes the most sense in a Disney sense, in an Animal Kingdom sense, in a Bob Chapek sense? Oh, there's an answer, explorers. It's in the title. So our first daunting challenge has been completed. We've loosely established that Dinoland USA no longer works within the fabric of Animal Kingdom, and it needs a new vision, one that fits in thematically while equally meeting the criteria of stingy Disney bean counters. While I'd love to see Imagineering tackle new and original concepts in this space, areas like South American rivers, the Arctic, or the Australian outback, all of these would require some form of originality that has been all but absent in the Iger and Chapek regimes. The mentality of these CEOs as far as Disney World is concerned is that in order to be placed here, it must exist within some context already, meaning it must be IP heavy or a clone. Ideally, both. Perhaps this is why Zootopia seems to be the likeliest candidate to evict Chester and Hester. However, the architect of Animal Kingdom himself, Joe Rohde, has denounced this idea, and while I think some form of Zootopia could be fun, I agree with his sentiment. So, what's a present attraction already on the shelf that more importantly could fit into Animal Kingdom? What can Dinoland be turned into? I propose that Disney should convert Dinoland USA into an exotic, Arabian port of entry, Mediterranean-style land, an immersive area that envelops you into the architecture and the romance of fantastic adventure, a more authentic, deliberate extension of Adventureland, if you will. We see this theme exemplified perfectly across town at Universal's Islands of Adventure. The port of entry serves as a subtle but thrilling entryway into the park's many disconnected sections. The port of entry is rich in detail, character, and charm. Walking down its thoroughfare inspires only a spirit of excitement and exploration. It would be incredible to see Disney attempt this sort of thing. A Middle East land in Animal Kingdom would be slightly more grounded perhaps, celebrating the culture, cuisine, and unique wildlife of the region, but above all, the land would serve as the ideal welcome mat for Walt Disney World to bring one of its greatest global attractions stateside. Sindbad's Storybook Voyage. Sindbad is perhaps the greatest dark ride that Disney has ever made, and somehow it's most underrated as well. We currently find Sindbad all the way around the world in Tokyo DisneySea. Nestled in the edges of the Arabian coast port of call, Sindbad in its own right is a hidden treasure. Tokyo DisneySea is potentially the greatest Disney theme park in the world, and that's likely due more to the Oriental Land Company than Disney, but that's a whole other video. In a park that boasts some of the most unique theme park experiences like Journey to the Center of the Earth, Raging Spirits, and a curious take on the Tower of Terror, Sindbad stands apart. It is the perfect embodiment of what a Disney attraction should be. There were echoes like it before it arrived, and nothing has quite matched it since. If I could describe it in a word, it would be epic. It's big on scale, it's big on ambition, it's big on story, it's big on heart, and it delivers every element flawlessly. And I say that never having ridden it, I've only experienced this through shaky YouTube POVs, and I'm overwhelmed. If you haven't been acquainted yet, may I briefly introduce you to the dark ride majesty that is Sinbad's Storybook Voyage. We enter the cobblestone show building through an arched entryway where the journey of Sindbad is loosely previewed along the corridors via vibrant murals and paintings. Following the halls leads us out onto the breezy ambiance of a calm seaside harbor. This area oozes a stylized quality that rivals the beckoning atmosphere of Disneyland's Pirates of the Caribbean. The sensation that something exhilarating awaits over the horizon is powerful. We board our seafaring vessels and our epic begins. A tranquil stillness initially evokes a bit of mystery, but that trepidation subsides as the accompanying music swells. We turn a corner and begin our storybook voyage. We find the harbor suddenly turned cinematic with a barrage of kinetic activity. We meet our hero Sindbad and his tiger cub buddy Shandu as he directs us towards town where a stirring audio animatronic cast of many players is sending us off in grand musical fashion. The scene sets a striking key of epic momentum that we will soon discover never lets up. This environment is busy, it's bustling, it's active, it's alive. We are introduced to our characters in the unique kind of audio animatronics that will be our storytellers. They aren't life-size, but they're fluid and expressive and completely distinctive. In a way, they are better than the life-sized humanistic animatronics we see on Spaceship Earth or Pirates. The Sindbad figures aren't selling reality or even a version of it. These animatronics are selling adventure and fantasy, and their opening pitch has us eager to place a high bid. This send-off immediately thrusts Sindbad into the havoc of a raging ocean storm. As the tides toss and the lightning strikes, our epic voyage feels like it may be cut short, but we're brought to safety via the help of some mystical mermaids who lead us to land, the first heroes of our adventure, and the first instance of a particular give-and-take theme that will be heavily represented throughout, as over the next 10 minutes we find our hero Sindbad in a variety of precarious situations, including bandits and pirate henchmen, colossal flying birds, a gigantic giant, and crazed banana-hyped monkeys. Each set piece is linked by a captivating and moving theme song. It's a whale of a tale, you better believe it. This is a journey full of character, action, and music. All of these events leading to our epic homecoming, a grand culmination of the many adventures we've just experienced. Every nook and cranny is packed with loving souvenirs and mementos of our harrowing travels. This is the kind of attraction Disney should be making all the time. It's got a classic feel, but it's modern in its presentation, an experience with a special focus on its story and immersion. Is an attraction heavy with simple animatronics. None are necessarily groundbreaking on their own, but they're all thoughtful and expressive, and together they make one of the greatest casts of any Disney attraction maybe ever. It's also an attraction with a complete story, a linear tale with a beginning and an end, and a careful message to take back home. The experience is so carefully crafted and focused that it requires no homework. If you haven't figured it out already, the ride is presented in Japanese, which, as of this writing, is a language I don't have a firm grasp of, and yet I can tell you everything that happens on Sindbad's Storybook Voyage. Because the words the characters are singing and saying, they only emphasize the visual tale that is unfolding. It's an elevation of the Fantasyland formula. The traditional storybook rides are wonderful, but they are so strongly summarized that they require previous knowledge of the source material. You get awesome dimensionalized interpretation of the stories, but you have to sort of piece them together yourself. That's why they always feel rushed. Even recent iterations like Frozen Ever After and Seven Dwarfs Mine Train, while compelling, they don't compare to this. They don't fully tell a story, we just enter those established stories at familiar checkpoints. Even great rides like Pirates and Haunted Mansion lack a definitive narrative. On the flip side, other attractions will only give us part of a story. We enter the story for a single chapter, being briefly recruited for some special mission within an IP. Fun and entertaining, yes, but completely fragmented. Sindbad doesn't do this. It tells us the whole story, a story full of peril, humor, and emotion. And yet, for being only 12 minutes, it doesn't feel rushed. It leaves you energized and satisfied and ready to hear it again and again. And that may also be due to the fact that one of the greatest attraction songs of all time underscores the entire ride. Compass of Your Heart, the rousing song that propels us from scene to scene, is a beautiful and majestic piece of music that stays in your head and heart long after the ride is over. So, yeah, I guess that's why I love this ride, the animatronics, the story, and the song. But it's also for those exact reasons that this ride, while maybe existing in some form in Tokyo today, is actually meant for Animal Kingdom. It's the audio animatronics that truly bring this attraction to life, and Animal Kingdom, perhaps more than any other park in the world, is a celebration of life. In a park that houses true life so abundantly, you'd think its audio animatronic offerings would equal, but they don't. Instead, they are relegated to brief, singular, albeit stunning appearances and otherwise simple attractions. Animatronics should be the star of any attractions, and current Animal Kingdom experiences often rely on just one or two. Sindbad requires the chorus of many. That's not to say that the Storybook Voyage doesn't have its own incredible and towering achievements, but even the minor players prove important, showing us that we all have a part to play in the story. The story of Sindbad on the surface is a fun one. It's full of adventure and danger and triumph, but if we dive a little deeper, we are met turn after turn with a constant theme, a celebration of the natural world, and it's not a stretch. There's a subtle, lingering message on display. Nature can take care of us if we work with it, not against it. We find danger and risk in the natural world, but we also find safety and hope and humanity. This entire adventure is infused with a not-so-subtle subtext of conservation. Sindbad is constantly being faced with nature's extremes, its most treacherous and its most beautiful, and yet he prevails not over it, but with it. For instance, Sindbad frees birds from pirates, who in return give Sindbad a feather that helps Sindbad save a giant, who then sings a song and bestows upon Sindbad many treasures. It is that back and forth that allows our adventure, our exploration of this wondrous world to continue. And let's not forget Chandu, Sindbad's tiger cub best friend who tags along for the entire experience. Sindbad is constantly befriending animals and wildlife for the duration of his epic adventure. Sindbad does work as a standalone attraction in DisneySea, but imagine it thoughtfully placed in Animal Kingdom. Sindbad's story demonstrates a symbiotic, rewarding relationship that echoes Animal Kingdom's overarching message. Sindbad set sail in pursuit of earthly treasures, but found that the true treasure was the earth alive and awaiting around him. And of course, the friends, wildlife, and non he made along the way. Also, it's presented to us from a boat, and boat rides are the best, and Animal Kingdom's boat ride leaves more boat to be desired. And of course, the song. Compass of Your Heart stands firm on its own, but listen to it and tell me it's not a perfect anthem for Animal Kingdom. It was written for the attraction by Disney stalwart Alan Menken. The song as it is presented in Japanese, but there are English lyrics that exist that can help us get a taste of what's being sung.
Tides may turn you and toss you in storms, they arise. Harm may stand in the path where your destiny lies. Just reach out for a friend when you're lost and astray. Let the compass of your heart show you the way. Life's the greatest adventure. There is no map, there's no chart. But if you seek life's great treasure, follow the compass of your heart.
The lyrics emphasize that life, like our day at Animal Kingdom, is an adventure. But isn't that the heart of Animal Kingdom overall? That there is adventure and wonder to be discovered, not only in the natural world, but also in the art, the stories, and the kindness of the cultures we encounter along the way who are inspired by it. While Animal Kingdom does have a map and a technically straightforward layout, the beauty of its design is that we're supposed to get lost. The design inspires us to explore, to wander down unmarked paths. Paths that ultimately lead us to different corners of the world. Avenues that, when directed to by our heart's compass, are satisfying and enriching.
Life's great treasure, follow the compass of your heart.
Looking at the real estate available in Dinoland, the Sindbad show building in Tokyo takes up almost an identical footprint as Dinorama and the new seating area. It's a nearly perfect fit. You can make room for a bit of extra waterways here and there. You could even free up some space in Adventureland. Move flying carpets over here and repurpose this dinosaur spinner into maybe a Trixie from Toy Story attraction in Toy Story Land, or don't. You don't have to do that. Oh yeah, but then that leaves the Dino Institute, which in theory could be sectioned off and remain untouched, but without the charm of the Dino-Rama rivalry, what's the point? My heart's just not in it. If we look at our finite overhaul budget, we can see that most has been spent on copying over an extraordinary dark ride. So if only there was some way to save a buck or two and, I don't know, utilize the same ride layout while transforming the experience overall to be set against hazardous adventures in, by, and around the Middle Eastern regions. Oh wait. Indiana Jones and the Temple of the Forbidden Eye, as you may be aware, almost exactly mirrors the track layout of Dinosaur. This would by no means be an easy retheme, but having the bones of the attraction already there, ha! Pun. Cause dinosaur bones. Oh, and archaeology. Anyways, it would make that transition a lot easier. And while Dinosaur does have its fans, I don't think many would complain about the upgrade. Some tweaks here and there could make Indiana's presence in Animal Kingdom a bit more appropriate. So, boom! Look at that. Dinoland USA has been effortlessly transformed into the Middle East, an epic land featuring two of Disney's best rides, arguably, all while incorporating established IP and existing attractions. It's great, it's practical, it's epic, it's cut and paste and thematically appropriate. Everyone's happy. The idea of Sindbad probably works better in Animal Kingdom than it ever could in Tokyo. Regardless, if it ever finds a home in the United States or not, and it probably never will, Sinbad's Storybook Voyage is an Imagineering and dark ride triumph. A wonderful fusion of Disney's greatest storytelling elements, the best of its kind. I can only hope I one day get to experience its magnificence in person. I want to go to Tokyo so bad. Because they still have Country Bear Christmas. Until next time, we'll see you in the happy place. Bye.
But if you seek life's great treasures, follow the